Hello, welcome to another wiki procedure, and today we are going to look on how you can obtain a dairy product import permit in Kenya. Down here below, we have given you a link which is going to direct you to our wiki procedure website page, where we have given you detailed instructions on how you can go about the application procedure. Additionally, on the right hand side of our screen, we have included a select language option through which you can select the language which you easily understand by clicking this downward pointing arrow and choosing the language of your choice. By choosing your preferred language, all the information on our wiki procedure website page will be translated to the language of your choice, and you can be able to read the instruction with ease, and you can easily revert back to English by once again clicking the downward pointing arrow and choosing English. Additionally, we've included external links to other websites which you can visit and get more information on how you can go about the application process, on how to get the dairy produce import permit in Kenya. We are going to go through all this procedure as we move on with our presentation today. But before we move on, I will urge you to hit the like button, the subscribe button, and also the notification bell, so you can get notifications every time we upload new content on our YouTube wiki procedure channel. So let's get back to our presentation. And the list of items which we are going to cover in this session include the need for the importation license or permit, the eligibility criteria, steps to follow in making the applications, the fees applicable, validity period, processing time, office location and contact information, and any other information which may give us more insight on how you can go about the application to get the dairy product import permit in Kenya. So welcome to our presentation today, which is brought to you by wikiprocedure.com. The need for the importation license or permit. The dairy produce importation permit allows one to import dairy produce from other countries into Kenya. The permit is important in the regulation of the dairy industry, and it facilitates regular inspections to ensure compliance to milk quality and safety requirements. In Kenya, no person is allowed to import dairy produce without a permit issued by the Kenya Dairy Board. The eligibility criteria is as follows. Persons intending to import dairy produce into Kenya are eligible to make the application. Required documents. You need your identity card and passport, a PIN certificate and VAT certificate, bill of lading or airway bill, import declaration form, medical certificate for milk handling personnel, a no objection certificate from the veterinary department, and the payment receipt of the milk importation permit. Steps to follow in making the application. First of all, let's mention an import permit is only issued to the applicant if he or she obtains a no objection certificate from the veterinary department, which is the final authority on animal diseases of the country of origin, stating that the milk to be exported from that country and be imported into Kenya is fit and that it meets the health requirements of Kenya. The certificate of no objection or veterinary approval is a prerequisite document and should be obtained before making the milk dairy produce importation permit application. So make sure you contact your dealer from the other country, the one where you're importing the milk from, so that they can forward you a certificate of no objection, because this is a prerequisite document. So once you have obtained your certificate of no objection, the first step, you can now make your application. So the first step is to obtain a certificate of no objection from the veterinary department, stating that the dairy produce to be imported is fit and that it meets the health requirements of the receiving country, which is Kenya. The next step now is to contact the nearest Kenya Dairy Board office to make the application for the dairy produce import permit, and a list of Kenya Dairy Board branches can be downloaded through this link right here. And here you'll be given an application form to fill and submit. For imports, you'll be given an application form, an application to import milk and milk products form 1 to fill and submit. And you'll be also asked to pay the application fee of 600 shillings and submit the required documents. The Kenya Dairy Board will then issue you with a clearance certificate after going through your documents and verifying that everything is okay. At the point of entry or discharge, if you have met all the requirements. After this, you have to pay the requisite importation fee of 1,000 shillings per consignment. And after making the payment, you'll be issued with an import permit for the dairy produce, which is form number 3, and the process takes a period of 3 days. The permit is valid for 90 days and is viable for only one consignment. And after importing the dairy produce, you are required to deliver to the Kenya Dairy Board within 7 days a statement in writing giving information and particulars in relation to the quantities of imported dairy produce held in stock, and the date or dates of such importation, the quantities of dairy produce for which imports orders have been placed, and the anticipated date of arrivals in Kenya, and the source of supply, that's the country of origin, and the intended destination of the dairy produce, and the names, addresses of intended distributors, wholesalers, and retailers. You need to note that non-compliance of the permit rules and regulations can lead to the suspension of the permit and revocation of future applications. So let's just check out how this application form looks like. Now, this is the application to import milk and milk products. You need to note this application form is only available at the Kenya Dairy Board offices and cannot be downloaded online, but we've managed to get a copy. So in the application form, you're supposed to give the name of the importer, you as the importer, your PIN number, give the address, your address, telephone number, your VAT number, business location, street, commodity which you are importing. It can be milk, ghee, whichever. We have the list right here: cream, butter, ghee, cheese, whichever dairy product which you are importing. The cost, insurance and freight figures here, the country of origin, point of entry, date of importation, landing date. Now you're supposed to also the route of importation, where you're going to store it, the storage premises once importations, once the product is in Kenya. Give the physical location, the quantity in kg, and make the declaration, sign and submit this together with the required documents to the Kenya Dairy Board offices. And after they've made the verifications, they're going to issue you with the form number 3. Let's just take a look at form number 3. This is form number. You'll be given this form number 3, which is the import permit for dairy produce. So you'll be issued with this this permit, and stating the products which are supposed to be imported, and these products you are supposed to have listed them in the application form. So they list the products which you're supposed to import, the quantities, and you need to note that this permit is for only one consignment. So it will state the date which the permit is supposed to be, which the permit will expire, and the permit is only viable for 90 days, so it will expire after 90 days, and the fees which you have paid and the date of issue. So as you have already mentioned, the import permit is subject to regulations prescribed in the dairy industry import and export regulations, and if you go against this, the permit can be revoked and future applications will not be considered. So let's get back to our presentation. The fees, the permit fees is 1,000 shillings per consignment. The application fees is 600 shillings. Let's move on. The validity period is 90 days and is for only one consignment. So after you've made the application, make sure application for the permit, or after you've been issued with the permit, make sure that the imports have landed in Kenya within 90 days, or the permit will have expired. The processing time takes between 3 and 7 working days, but the maximum is 7 days to process. The contact information of the Kenya Dairy Board head office. The head office located at Social Security House, Bishop Road, Nairobi, Kenya, and you can visit them through their website of www.kdb.co.ke. They can also visit their licensing portal through the link which is provided down here for other applications. So let's move on. Other information is a permit is required for each consignment imported, and an import permit will not be issued unless the applicant obtains a no objection certificate from the veterinary department, which is the final authority on the animal diseases. So make sure you obtain a no objection certificate from the country which you are importing from. So this is a prerequisite document. Make sure you obtain this document before you start the application process. So thank you for watching our presentation today, brought to you by Wiki Procedure. But before we finish our presentation, I will urge you to go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe and notification button, so you can get notifications every time we upload new content in our page. So once again, just to recap, our first step: obtain a certificate of no objection. Visit the Kenya Dairy Board to make your application. You'll be given the application form for you to make your application, the form A. So go ahead, fill in your the required details, submit the required documents, and pay the requisite fee of 600 shillings. After they've gone through the documents and everything is okay, you'll be issued with the permit, import permit with the payment of 1,000 shillings, which is the requisite fee, and the permit is valid for 90 days and is viable for one consignment only. So it's that simple, and thank you for watching. I wish you all the best. So once again, hit the like button, hit the subscribe, notification bell, and have a good day.